Hey there. This is Digital Experiences Retro for iteration March 22nd to April 4th. And we're going to kick it off with things that went well. Pass it over to Nathan.
Yeah, the first one is we made a lot of really cool progress with the DEX channel, and it's becoming extremely helpful. And John, I want to give a huge shout out for that broken links detected post. It's super cool. I just got a screenshot in our retro doc. I like the mountain, nice little artistic touch to it. But no, I can see that being like I'll get Hanif involved maybe, post some SEO stuff too, some Lighthouse results. Like have one place to have all of our debugging stuff. So yeah, good job on that. Looks really good. I have the next one. Yeah, localization. There's a lot of back and forth this last iteration. So I just want to say thank you to everybody, especially the localization team. They sent us a kind of like a user story document of here's the requirements that we need from Contentful or from the Contentful integration for us to be able to implement with it. And I found it super helpful. I'd love for us to use that, maybe for like the CMS going forward or for any new integration. It was really cool. So thank you. But I think that's it for me. Megan, you're up next.
Yeah, Trevor, what a guy. Or is he? Is he an octopus in a human suit? Because I'm convinced he did the work of like 10 people this iteration with all the GitLab geo changes and all the stuff coming down the pipeline and just juggling it all. Um, Dang, dude. Thank you so much. And yeah, I know that was a lot. You just appreciated so much. And thanks. And also to Javi. Uh, Trevor made or designed a beautiful page, but you made it and a very short amount of time. I know you both, worked some late nights and just you're so much appreciated. I think it turned out uh, really great. If you're watching this, look at our GitLab Duo page. It's great. Good job, team.
Yeah, I wrote a point. It's like, I don't know how to express this without like burning myself. How do I voice my timeline? How do I escalate that to because I wrote a doc in my one-on-one with Lauren for next time discussing like I just did like my Git commit log and I just like pasted it in a Google Doc just so that like you can see what I did and what I had to push up against. I want to yeah, like I want to voice that, but I want to do that through the right channels. I don't want to like burn the team, I don't want any of that. I just want to like explain. So I don't know if you folks have feedback for that. I think voicing it, to my manager is probably sufficient, but yeah, I want to make sure that that gets to whoever needs to hear it.
Yeah, I think I just want to acknowledge, like, thank you again, Trevor and Javi. I think just acknowledging, obviously, the way that we worked last week was less than ideal. Um, that was, not how we wanted to operate. But I think at the same time, we need to acknowledge that there are times that we're gonna have to do that. That was unfortunately one of them. I'm happy to compile the feedback, Javi, and we can present that up to Carrie. But again, like we are working on a lot of other people's timelines. So while we can suggest improvements and like we can advocate and push for getting better processes in place, I also just want to set like a realistic expectation that this will likely happen again. So if there's anything internally that you all can suggest for our team to help alleviate that next time, happy to hear it. Let's fix our processes. Let's figure out what we can do to not make that happen again. And yeah, I'll compile the feedback and we can share that up and out to the org as well.
Yeah, that
And I
sounds like about appropriate. Yeah. Yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
and I think it's more so, I think Javi, to your point, is less so like preachy of like, we think this could be better. It's more just like, what was the impact to our team and what was the impact to the delivery of the work, is how I would want to frame it. So yeah, if you have any suggestions on that, all ears.
Thanks for being receptive. I appreciate that.
Megan, you want to kick off things to improve on?
Yeah, and just trying to keep this some of the stuff we mentioned confidential because there is kind of like safe information, but it is a broad example or just a broad topic. But thinking about how we stage changes in Contentful with our recent GitLab Duo updates, we had to get that out fast, and some of it is in Contentful, but there are follow-ups coming in ad hoc, like just completely unplanned that we're working on. There's also stuff coming down that we're aware of that we're preparing for in advance, and struggling to juggle that. So if someone has something in draft scheduled to go out in a week or two, and I need to go in and make a change to something immediately, I could potentially publish that change that should not have gone out if I'm not aware. I think that's it. A lot of risk is there, especially if it's safe information that should not be published before a set date and time. So, yeah, we can't solve this today, but I think it's as a team we need to really think about how we could handle stuff like this because it's not going to be the last time. I think this is the first time we maybe encountered this though.
I'll just add some complexity to this. And that's like, as we know, new critical content is coming in. We need to create that ticket for localization so that they can get that content translated manually. As soon as we know, just to give them a heads up. John, you got something there?
Yes, seeing all these issues while we work with draft content and stuff, I believe we should think of using a staging environment in Contentful. It can be a copy from the main environment that we are using right now, because draft content can affect other people in the team. If you change something that it is for development and you will take like 2 days, for example, to fix that, you can affect other people because the preview app will break or something like that. And in this kind of cases, I believe a staging environment could help us. But we need to like do a good workflow if we are going to implement a staging environment. I believe Nathan is next.
Oh, not much, just a +1 to that. Mateo just did it for the blogs and it worked quite well, so we could bug him about it.
I did create a new environment, but I was looking at the merge app for Contentful, the one that merges changes from one environment to another. And I could be wrong, but I think it only merges content model changes, not content changes. So changes to fields or locales or things like that.
Well, never mind.
I think we know, I know it's like confidential what specific thing we're talking about, but I think we all know which one we're talking about. I think for that one in particular, maybe Trevor, do you want to share your perspective?
Sorry, could you say that again?
Yeah, just
Sure.
do you want to maybe share your perspective or what challenges you faced that we want to maybe like walk through resolving?
Yeah, for the work that just went out or the work that's actively going on now?
Actively going on now. Or like what happened in the work that just got released that kind of led you to maybe for us to take this approach?
Yeah, I think it's more so like, I think if we have enough bandwidth to complete something before release date, we should try to give ourselves a buffer before that in order to account for any changes that might come in later on. To make sure that we have maintain a good experience and the seamless release on certain things. So I'm not sure how much detail I can really say, but I think that's more so just like the the recommendation I would share with that.
And then how much buffer time do you all think is appropriate?
I think there's maybe a broader question about just like our playbook for go-to-market work, or how much time we need to feel confident that we have something set prior to going out. I think like I would say if we're doing it the day before, that would be like a worst case scenario. I think like in ideal terms, we probably want to give ourselves at least a week of feeling good about what we have. In the case that we do need to make those last minute changes. I think it also helps with just general sign off with cross-functional partners in the case that they may have reviewed something maybe a few weeks ago, but this will allow for something being code complete in a review app, which they can double check again. So there's like that reminder of like, you know, here's what you reviewed then. Now look at it again and just triple confirm, just so that there isn't any sort of hiccups that happen along the way, if that makes sense.
And then Megan, to your point, is a week too long to have something in a review app draft state?
That's the thing is like, I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just our current workflow, it just can't sustain that if we're constantly iterating at the speed of light. And, you know, it's been communicated to us that as a company, we could all improve our release process better. And this is definitely part of that. And I think we just need to, maybe as engineers, just as a team, look how can we support that? Because like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the buffer and review time, but we need our workflow to be able to handle that.
I'm gonna add that I don't think review apps are confidential either. Which is something to consider with these private, like new feature releases.
Mhm.
Had an item in here about scheduled releases. I kind of don't think that's would solve this problem, but anyone want to talk about?
I was going crazy yesterday. I was trying to do a release for the Faster Together page, and like it's just stuck in this redirect loop and all the things, and I just gave up. But it's interesting to see, I guess other people have experienced that as well.
Yeah, John and I encountered that same issue, and it seems to be something with the auths because clearing cookies or opening incognito fixes the redirects.
Cool. We can move on to point 2, Nathan.
Sorry, just so we don't leave this up in the air. What's like next steps, or is there someone that wants to take this on? Do we want, I don't know, an issue, a meeting? Like how do we want to resolve this?
I guess let's start with an issue that explains, you know, these pain points. And it sounds like we need to still think about a proper solution. So let's get the problem on paper and give it some time. But I think that should be a Q2 solve for sure.
Okay, and does someone want to take that on? Creating an issue? You will? Okay, thank you, Megan. Sorry. And I think everyone just contribute to it. I think, Trevor, if you wanted maybe just put in your design perspective of the challenges that it creates for the design team, I think that would be helpful. Sorry, now you can move on.
This one has come up a couple times today. Yeah, I was working on the platform page, just trying to fix a bug with some scrolling with the links that are in the table. Went to go and click merge and found out I had merge problems. I looked and it looks like that whole table was pretty much redone. All the links were changed. So I was a little confused, but honestly, I agree with the change. So it's not the change, it's just, do we make sure that we have to see these changes before they go out? Is there a way that we can see the changes coming down sooner so we don't waste time? I don't know. It's a weird scenario. It probably doesn't happen often. It was just a bit of a shock to me that people can publish to these high priority pages without us knowing about it.
I think I have an opinion here. I don't really blame the ICUs for making the change if they're allowed to. Like, if they have the permissions to make the change, like they should be allowed to make the change. And it's like the one thing I did add in there, it's like I actually don't know if that change is better or worse. It just kind of like I think it depends, right, on what's coming down. However, I do think that if we're not okay with that process, that we should lock down our sites further so that we have to see changes before they go out. I think that would be the way that to resolve that. Because from our end, it feels scummy if like a change goes out for something that we didn't know and it messes you up. Like it just does. I think we should reflect that.
By the way, this is a platform table, so there's no contentful involved. It was just an MR update in the YAML file that went out. So
Yeah, fair enough. I know that Contentful wasn't involved, but I think this just highlights the need for creating that documentation in the handbook. So then at least we could point it there. Because I think the way that we could do it is like for items that are in Contentful, the items that are not in Contentful, who are the code owners? What do they own? What authority do they have? Like, I think even content owners, like they can update content, but if they want to create a new page, like, are they allowed to? Do they need us to do it? Like, what are the pages? What are like the key pages that like we always need sign off for? I thought we did have a flow at one
I
point, didn't
think
we?
so.
And I don't know how that was bypassed also, because I thought at one point there was something where like DEX leadership had to sign off on specific pages. And I can't imagine platform page not being one of them, but I can look into that. But yeah, just FYI that this has been escalated and I'm gonna try to figure out how like not necessarily that the change was wrong, but just like how come our involvement was just bypassed.
On that point, could we add that page to the DEX bot, or isn't it already there for the? I know it's hooked up with Contentful, changes in Contentful, but maybe we can have another module for that bot that also handles changes on the content module.
It's a good idea. I would also caution like what is the issue? Like we need to know after the change is made, or should we know before the change is made? And I think like the bot's great, but that kind of tells us potentially too late if it's something we need to know about. Yeah, plus one to anything that can give us more insight faster, whether it's code owners or changing it so you need someone from digital experience to approve the MR before merging or something.
Now that I think about it more, we definitely had this workflow in.
We did, for sure.
I just don't know where it went or what happened. Like, maybe we just investigate that first. Because I've seen it happen to other pages because I've had to approve things.
Maybe we got rid of it, went to Contentful? I don't know. Okay, do we jump to the next one? Keep it moving. Yeah, just a kind of like a housekeeping organization thing. There's a mini cleanup done this week. Probably got rid of like 100 issues, a bunch of probably 20 merge requests, a whole bunch of stuff. Epics we have over 100 epics right now. So let's just try and clean up as best we can, so it doesn't turn into what dub was or is now. And then fills out. I took your idea and gave you credit, obviously, but what about we run like an automation every week, every 2 weeks, every month, every quarter, whatever. That just closes out issues that haven't been updated in 9 months. And we'll use like the DEX user, so it's not like any of us are closing it, it's the bot that's closing it. But yeah, just want to throw that out there.
I like 9 months personally. I think a quarter is way too close. Some things take multi-quarters. Will it notify the person that opened it that it's closed? The
Yeah.
bot? Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Let's help with some of the housekeeping. No need to vocalize. Okay, perfect, Javi. I'll jump to the next one then. Last one. As you saw today, that delete job failed 4 or 5 times. It didn't fail, it timed out. So it hit the hour timeout 4 or 5 times in a row. and it was deleting for 4 to 5 hours in a row. So we had like 6 hours of metadata deletion queued up, which is a lot. Every time we hit publish in Contentful, it rebuilds the whole site, and then each page has like what, a CSS file, a JS file, and a whole bunch of metadata. So I was thinking we either add merge trains, so 10 changes get bundled together, and like the train goes out every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes, or we change that delete job to happen once a day, once every 2 days. We just need to figure out something so that we don't end up with 6 hours of deletion at a time. I also don't know the storage limit on the bucket, so I don't want to test it and find out that we're out of storage and then the site fails. So yeah, just something that popped up today. And I also don't know how to implement the merge train, so that would be fun. I think that's it. I also just found that we have 7 terabytes of artifacts in dub. So that might have to get cleaned up. And we have 800 gigabytes in buyer experience. So some more cleanup that we should probably get to. There's a tab that's called, it's like usage. So if you go to a project and then go usage_quotas, it'll show you. So here's the one for dub in case you're curious. But anyway, we'll get issues made and get to it.
Cool. Anything else? No. Well, thanks everyone.